guys, and thanks for tuning in again today. So, in today's video, we are going to be building this reindeer habitat. Now, this is a bit of an interesting habitat because it's also a train station. So I didn't know what I was going to do with this, and I just sort of made it up as I went along. So essentially, yeah, there are some trees kind of sticking through the roof, which I need to sort out. But essentially, the way this works is this is just one big roof. The reindeer have full access to this roof, and essentially we just put a load of mulch on it, and the reindeers, as you can see, are quite happy chilling on the top here. So let's get to the speed build now, where you can see how I built this very wacky habitat. Right, so for this habitat, it is basically a massive load of roof pieces kind of assembled together. And essentially I was making this so that the reindeer would be able to kind of go onto the roof, because I wanted this to kind of be usable by the reindeer as well. So it's 1 meter roof pieces, like the smallest meters you can get, and then I was using the New World pieces to kind of create this kind of glass house effect. But that slope kind of, it merges into the ground, and the deer can, or caribou, can actually walk all over it. So that was kind of what I was aiming for here. It doesn't quite line up with the platform right now. It's something that I think I do a little bit off screen just to try and make it look a little better. So yeah, so essentially I was using Arctic pieces because they're an Arctic animals, and it kind of goes with the theming of their habitat. I had to do a bit of terraforming under here. Generally it's finished, but I haven't quite worked out the kinks inside the station bit, because I need to kind of do something to make it look a little bit nicer inside. However, it is a bit difficult because it's kind of it's very much a case of that it's kind of a freeform build as well, so that makes it a little bit more challenging. But essentially, what I was doing here is I was just making the platform look a little bit more like it blends in with the building itself, and just trying to make it look like it's a finished product rather than just bits that are assembled together. Again, when I started this, I didn't really have a plan for how it would look when it was finished, so that's why there's a lot of kind of going back and changing things. And this, again, I was just making sure it all lined up, and obviously we've got the platform above there, and I just wanted it all to kind of line up properly, really, and make it kind of fit snugly. So obviously once I've done that bit, I can then start making the roof blend in a bit more. So this is just the big square mulch pieces. I grouped them together and just did one row and then made them a group, and then just copied and pasted them across. So again, I wanted it so that the guests could look into the reindeer habitat while they were maybe waiting for the train or walking over to the queue. Underneath the sort of roof is going to be where the reindeer can hang out, and that's an indoor area for them. And then the rest of it was just sort of having it kind of be a functional station, but also a functional habitat. So yeah, it took a little bit of trial and error with different things, trying to get it all to work how I wanted it to. I wasn't entirely sure how it would go or how it would look either at the end, which can be a bit tricky. I don't, as you know, with Alphabet Zoo, I'm not really planning much. The only thing that's really planned is where the animals are going to go in the park. The buildings themselves, I just sort of build whatever I feel like on the day. So yeah, this is kind of where we're at with the reindeer now, and essentially it's really good, this habitat, because they do use it quite a lot. They do actually go up onto the slope. Now obviously reindeer really like to swim, they should really be classed as a semi-aquatic animal at this point. So there is an underwater viewing area which the reindeer use quite a bit, but at the same time I did want them to try and go up onto the roof, and I wanted it so that from the boat ride as well they could be viewed. On one of the Discord servers, somebody was saying it looked a bit like Santa's ramp, where maybe he's taking the reindeer are using it to get off into the air. But yeah, it was a fun build. I must say I did enjoy building this. I'm trying to just make every habitat more different from the last as well. I want it to look different. So here I'm just doing a bit more neatening up of things, and then from then it's pretty much just finishing off the building now. Now, as you can see, I've put in the habitat barriers now, and the water's there, so there's an underwater viewing area because the caribou love swimming, and then the rest is just the detailing for the rest of the habitat. Obviously, the roof itself is really quite thin, So some of the plants do come through. As you can see, I was having a bit of issue here with some of the recording as well, just trying to sort some things out. Do apologise for that. Usually I edit most of that out, but that must have got missed. So yeah, I was having a little bit of a log fence here, just a custom fence, just to try and merge it all together a bit as well, make it kind of blend in a bit more with the actual slope. I obviously don't want the reindeer to be able to go over that. I do change some of this for a fence instead. Obviously it's not the safest for the reindeer, because the reindeer can just like throw themselves off the edge if they desire. I mean, if this were a real zoo, it would probably not be safe for the reindeer, just because some of the edges of it, they can just literally walk off into like an abyss below. You can see here, this is where I've also aligned the actual thing properly with the station as well. So yeah, often again, when you look at these things, it's always good to kind of back out and try and see what it looks like from a distance, to see if it's looking like you want it, like how you want it to look like. So here I was having a go at building some fences. I just use the Arctic pieces again. It's all very Arctic themed. Build this, and I just wanted that kind of hook thing to go there, and a lot of it was just sort of again, copy and pasting the same fence pieces, making it so that they were aligned with how I wanted them to be aligned. And essentially I just wanted it so that if the reindeer were up there, they're not going to like easily walk off. I mean, I'm sure they could jump over this if they wanted to, so it's not realistic in that sense, but I just thought it was a really cool concept to have like the train station actually underneath the habitat, and the reindeer, their habitat kind of extends into this kind of like artificial slope. And they do, and again, like, they do go up there. It is a completely traversable surface, and I was really pleased with how it turned out. So again, if you're ever building custom fences, don't forget that you have to kind of rotate things as well. So this was me rotating it after I'd copied it, so that it would fit properly in alignment with this. And this is where I bring it down into this kind of area here. And essentially I kind of keep the fence how it is, and that's mainly most of the perimeters done. I do a lot of like work with the paths underneath, just to try and sort some of the paths out. But most of it is just, that's kind of it finished, really. The only thing I do is just add just sort of the terrain work, and like doing all the rocks and things, and then the rest of it is just as well kind of this little fence that we've got going on here, and just some decoration kind of work as well. Obviously I wanted, it's not entirely perfect, it isn't perfect. I'm not going to try and pretend it's perfect, because this is the downside to building the way I build, which is just, you know, randomly making stuff kind of just like on a whim, essentially. But yeah, so obviously we, you know, with the reindeer came with like the Arctic pack, and obviously this week we had, well, say this week, it was last week, we had the aquatic pack released. So I'm really excited for having some of the other animals that are sort of more Arctic animals brought into this game as well. So we have the king penguin, which is really exciting, and we also have the grey seal. Now, I'm pretty sure in my previous videos I was saying I didn't think that they were going to be doing an aquatic pack, but hey, I was proven wrong, and my videos haven't aged well, I guess. But yeah, I'm really happy that we've got these animals. I really love the seals, they're my favourite animal. I haven't actually looked at the otter yet, or the caiman. I've been too busy focusing on penguins and seals, and the seals are my favourite. We're going to try and incorporate them into Alphabet Zoo. They are not going to be in strictly alphabet order. So King Penguin is going to be up by Polar Point, I think. Just because we can fit P next to Polar Point, so Penguins, Polar Point. And then also the other ones we have is the giant otter. Now we're going to say that it's going to be an otter rather than a giant otter, and we're going to go for O. So they're going to be next to the penguins in Polar Point, because we've got the okapis near the polar bears, so that kind of works out from an alphabetical standpoint. We're not going to be able to get the caimans in, I'm afraid. They're not going to be in the zoo, because there's no way of like working it out into the theme. Like the otters we can just about like call it. The seals, we're just going to call them seals instead of grey seals. So we can fit them in with S. So they'll be built after the saltwater crocodile habitat, which is in 2 habitats time. We've got actually no, 3 habitats now, because we've got the lemurs next, and then it's the sable antelope, and then it's the saltwater crocodiles, and then it'll be the seals. So the seals is going to be probably coming next, and I will probably be going back and doing the penguin habitat once I've finished the seal habitat, just to try and fit them all in nicely, because I've got to work out how it's all going to fit together as well. So yeah, we're getting there with Alphabet Zoo now. I don't think I'm going to get it finished by the end of the year. Unfortunately, I have been dealing with quite a fair few number of bugs really from the aquatic update, which is making Alphabet Zoo really difficult to play. Obviously, it's franchise, so I do rely on making money in the game as well before I can build the habitats. Like, generally, I spend about a few £100,000 on every habitat when I build it, so that alone can cost a lot of money. And if the game isn't profitable, then I'm not going to be able to build, because that's just how the game works. And maybe I should stop building in franchise, but I also really enjoy building in franchise too. But I think my next large projects are just going to be in sandbox. So yeah, so this is me just doing a bit of the planting side of things. Obviously the reindeer do like it very planted. Obviously as well, we have this very blocky looking textured floor with lots of cubes on it, so I wanted to try and just break that up. I also didn't want the plants to kind of sink too far into the roof, because the roots do come through. That is something I need to go through and fix, but again, there's a lot with Alphabet Zoo that needs fixing. There's a lot of things I need to go back and tweak. It's just such a massive park file that at the moment that's just what it is what it is. My next zoos are going to be even bigger and better than this one. Well, maybe not bigger, but they're definitely going to be better. I don't think I'll be doing a zoo quite on this scale ever again. But yeah, so obviously, again, it was quite a bit of a challenge trying to get the rocks and things to sit nicely without them sort of blending in too much into like below through the roof, because the roof is very, very thin. But yeah, I did actually get this idea from somebody on Reddit. I don't actually know who posted it, but I saw a picture of a reindeer on top of a cafe, and I thought that was a really cool idea. So I decided to kind of merge that in with the train station, because I was like, well, I've got this train station. So that's kind of where the idea did originate from. I just like how it's such a striking feature. Like, the last train station, Bamboo Station, was also a striking feature of the park. So it just kind of makes it like blend in a lot better as well. And I don't know, I just really like how it turned out. I just was something completely different that I didn't think I'd ever see myself building. So there's that too. But yeah, obviously this is just all using, you know, the tiger and the tundra plants. I was using the white rocks to try and like get the snow in, and obviously with this zoo we're just, you know, using the coolers to get the snow where we want them. So that's just going to be how they are. But generally we've just got to try and keep it cooler for them. And yeah, so the idea again is obviously the boat rides on the other side of the lake, so people on the boat can look up and they'll be able to see reindeer just hanging at the top. Of course that doesn't happen because the reindeer are more interested in swimming, because reindeer are apparently semi-aquatic. Who knew? But yeah, that's kind of was the initial plan. So again, I was just trying to cover up some of these kind of cracks, just try and break them up a bit so it doesn't look too obvious. I don't think it looks too bad. I don't know how I would do this again. Like, it's definitely better than using like the terrain as the roof, and I definitely think that I would do something like this again. I mean, you could completely like have like a circular habitat, you could have different shapes and things and have them walking on the roof of it. It was just an interesting use of space as well. Like, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to fit everything in with the terrain I'd built. And I do want to keep the terrain the way it is, because I like the kind of shape of it. We're going to be going down into a very, very flat area next. It's going to be probably going down maybe into a valley kind of a thing. So I really like kind of how that's turned out, and I'm really excited to see what we're going to be doing with the next habitats, because as I said, the next ones coming up are going to be the seal and the saltwater crocodile. So they're going to be on the lake. So I'm excited to show you what I've built for those, because obviously they're already built. This is planned weeks and ahead. In fact, I built this at the start of December, end of November, some of these habitats that you're seeing now, and we're now into 2021. So also Happy New Year, guys, as well. So that is the one unfortunate thing about having my videos come out a little bit like ahead of schedule. So here I was just doing some more lining of the paths that I've been doing in area. I did do really enjoy doing this, but it is also so time consuming, so I don't know if it'll be something that I'll be continuing throughout the whole park, but for this area, this is what I have done. And that's pretty much it, habitat-wise. Like, there's nothing really much more to add, other than the reindeer. Yeah, that's kind of it. So anyway, I'm really excited to see what people are building with the new aquatic park, because it's really like, exciting. I know this is going to be outdated now, and I do apologise for that. But you know, I'm excited to show you what I've built with the rest of the zoo, because it's just been such a unique build as well. I've not built kind of anything like this. Oh, off we go to the rest of the park, and this is me putting in a little I did put in a little kind of cafe thing, but I decided against it in the end. So yeah, anyway, please do stick around and check out my other videos as well. New Planet Zoo videos are coming out every Tuesday and Friday at the moment. This is the current schedule. I'm hoping I'll be able to keep it up. I am starting a new job soon, so if you don't see me for a while, that's why. As I'm starting my new job and I don't have time to play video games anymore, because I am playing quite a lot at the moment. But please do check out my other stuff. I will finish Alphabet Zoo, even if it's the last thing I do. Just because I've spent so long on it now. I've been working on it since August, and I'm determined to at least finish this zoo. So, yeah. Anyway, I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care, and enjoy the cinematics at the end.